Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dean Stevens. We're cutting into regularly scheduled programming to bring you breaking news out of North Charleston. The police department is about to hold a press conference regarding the deadly shooting of 50-year-old Walter Scott, 33-year-old officer Michael Slager, of course, charged with his murder. That press conference is about to begin. That is Spencer Pryor, the public information officer with the city of North Charleston. Of course, so many developments over the last 24 hours or so. The big announcement made yesterday by Mayor Keith Summy that Officer Slager will face murder charges. Slager went before a bond court judge last night. A protest was held earlier today. The AP reporting that Mayor Summy and also Police Chief Eddie Driggers visited with Walter Scott's family this morning. Right now, let's listen to Mayor Keith Summy of North Charleston. Expected to join him today is Police Chief Eddie Driggers.
Good afternoon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this press conference. I will tell you that the chief and I, along with my wife, visited the family this morning. A wonderful, down-to-earth family, a wonderful group of people, and we let them know how we felt about their loss and how bad it was. And we do not condone wrong, doesn't matter who it is, and we're there to support them as we can for the future. I will also let you know that the officer that was terminated, his wife is 8 months pregnant, and while he's been terminated, the city is going to continue to cover the insurance on her for the baby until after the baby is born. We think that is the humane thing for us to do, and we're going to do that. I also will tell you that thanks to Senator Marlin Kempson and also one of the members of the state legislature, we received a grant to purchase 101 body cameras. Those body cameras are on order. Today I made an executive decision and have notified my council. We have already ordered this morning an additional 150 body cameras so that every officer that's on the street in uniform will have a body camera. Now I want you to know that it takes a while. Once the cameras come in, we have to train them on operation of the camera, but we also have to establish a policy. We have already been drafting a policy through the police department for our legal department to look at and make sure it meets muster. This has been a horrible tragedy within our community. There have been two families that have been harmed great by what occurred, both the victims and the officer's family. And our hearts go out to both of them. I was taken back by the warm and kind reception that we received today from the family. They are an outstanding family within our community. And the mother and father are wonderful people, and the other family was there. They're suffering. Those of you, however you choose to offer up prayers, please pray for this family in the time that they're going through. We will be there to support them for the funeral with a police escort to make sure that we get them moved properly and give them the utmost respect and the respect that the gentleman that is deceased deserves. We're going to allow you to ask questions after the chief speaks for about 10 minutes. I want to let the national media know we respect you. We are not going to do any national interviews until after the burial. I'm not going to make this a political forum for me and the city. What we're trying to do is make sure that the family has an adequate time to put their son to rest. And after that, we will start talking. We will be working within the community to have open dialogue on policies that we have, looking for ways to develop a closer working relationship with the individual communities. Our chief has been doing that for the last 2 years. You got to remember, we are the only city in the state that has a police officer in every school. And it's not just to create security in the schools, it's to create relationships between those officers and the young people within our community. And we will continue to look at ways to enhance the quality of service that we provide to our citizens. And by that, I mean all of our citizens. So we'll be having some good open dialogue within the next 30 days. And those of you that are interested in taking part in that dialogue, if you would contact our office and let us know, and we'll be glad to consider you for that role. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Driggers and let him have some remarks.
So my heart goes out to the family today. Had a good visit with them. I got to meet a daddy who is in mourning, a mama who is in mourning, and we talked father to father. It was a good visit with them, and I would ask you to, however you give respect to individuals, give them the respect that they deserve during this time, and just know that we are doing our best here, not only as a city but as a police department, not only to serve during this time, but to protect you, all of you, and to serve this community as best we can, even though we've got a whole bunch going on. We're going to continue to strive to do what's right. We're going to strive to do what's right. I would just ask you to keep, I have been praying for peace. Peace for the family and peace for this community. And I will continue to stand on that as I strive to protect and serve the people I took an oath to do so. So, that said.
Any questions?
Chief, there were no justice! Chief! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
May I make one statement? We only have 10 minutes. That we're going to allow these people to ask their questions. We understand how you feel and what you're saying. We don't have any issues with that. But if we can have an opportunity to answer their questions, because Mr. Pryor said he's going to cut it off.
Let's go 1, 2.
He'll call on you.
We'll go 1, 2 right here for right now.
Chief, there were other officers in that video. Did any of them ever come forth and say that Slager was not telling the truth?
To my knowledge, nobody was witness to anything but Slager.
Chief, two of your sergeants have said in statements that CPR was performed by an Officer Habersham. Officer Habersham just says he did pressure, did not perform CPR. Was CPR ever performed on this man, as far as you know?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you.
Do that.
I am, and give me just a second. The honesty comes from my heart. I have watched the video, and I was sickened by what I saw. And I have not watched it since. But in that end, because I've been receiving a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails, in the end of it, what I saw was I believe to be a police officer removing the shirt of the individual and performing some type of life-saving. But I'm not sure what took place there.
But you don't know if CPR was performed?
I do not know. I was told that life-saving, that they tried to save his life when we got to it.
And if I could further elaborate, should CPR be performed right away in a situation like that after you know that everybody's safe? And who was that first officer on the scene, the African American officer? Which is that Habersham?
Yes.
Chief. So should that have been performed?
In the video, we see them dropping something. We see the officer dropping something near the body, but it's not clear what that is. A lot of people have suggested that what the officer was dropping was a taser. Do you have any information on that?
We have turned, we're under no obligation to turn an investigation over. We could have investigated this ourselves, but we chose to turn it over to SLED because that's the right thing to do. To have an independent agency do the investigation. There are questions that I have in my mind that I can't answer right now. And those questions are going to have to be answered by Scarlett Wilson, the solicitor, and by SLED. And I can't answer those questions. And so I would just refer those specific questions to the people who have investigated this to the fullest extent.
Right next question, right this young lady.
Do you have police procedures in place?
Right here.
Do you have police procedures in place? What are your procedures? And were they followed?
Obviously not.
Do you have procedures in place for dealing with a wounded suspect or victim, or are there procedures in place?
Is it normal procedure to handcuff him after he's shot?
Let me get, hold on, wait a minute, let me answer the questions for you that we can answer. First of all, we don't have all the information. Both.
The chief of police or the mayor? Which one?
I'm asking you to respect me as I'm going to respect you. Okay. And I'm talking to the media. Okay? The people can hear. We're about to close this press conference. We're about to close the press conference. I am, Skylar, you had a question. I think it's because we did what was right. We turned the investigation over to an independent agency that does not work for the mayor and does not work for the chief. We also then tried to get all the information that we could and turn over to them. And that's why some of the questions that are being asked today, we don't have that evidence. That evidence was presented to SLED. We gave them everything that we have. They're the ones that really need to answer any questions about investigation. And
right here.
Well, hold on, I'm still answering Skylar. Yes, sir.
When did you start to believe that there was something wrong with the officer's story and there might have been a videotape explaining or showing that it didn't match?
I saw the videotape yesterday for the first time.
Did you believe your officer until you saw the videotape?
I had no reason to rely on anything but the evidence that we have, and I was not engaged in the investigation, so I did not have the evidence.
You're the mayor. Where's the chief of police? You're the mayor. We want to talk to the chief of police.
Go to the question. This young lady right here.
Young lady, yes, ma'am. He went through a process that goes through the department, and that's part of the personnel file. We'll be glad to release it to you.
Is that the only incident? Is that the only incident?
Yeah, with the exception of the.
Yes, sir.
The 2014, not following the report.
The taser does not have a camera.
And second question, a lot of this community, about half of this community is African American, yet
Correct.
80% of the police department, as I understand it, is white. Is it time for that to change?
Yeah.
Let me say that we recruit African American members to the police department. Anyone that can become certified as a police officer, we're more than willing to hire. The problem is we have a very limited number, even to the point that we've started going out and recruiting from other departments, where we can get certified minority police officers to work for us.
This gentleman with the hand.
Was there ever a fight over the taser? I mean, was there any truth to what the officer originally said?
I think that if you get
Video
all of...
shows. What are you just still thinking? The video showed it.
Let's hear the answer. Thank you.
The answer to your question, sir, is that if you are made privy to all of the video, I have not seen all of the video, so therefore I can't answer the questions.
Andrew.
There's the car video. SLED has that. And what I understand, the video that I saw was not all of the video that exists. We only were able to look at what was given to us. I haven't seen it.
Right here. Right here.
Yes, sir.
Go.
We want triggers.
Go.
We want triggers. We want triggers. We want triggers. We want triggers. We want triggers.
Go.
Yes, sir. I need a little bit louder.
What is the make and model of the handgun?
I had.
We can leave that get that information to you. I am not that familiar with guns.
Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, with all due respect, sir, would you please explain to the people why it is that you won't allow Chief Triggers to answer? I can speak for myself. I can speak for myself. I can speak for myself. Please, respect. Why the people would like to know why it is that you won't allow the police chief to answer police-related matters, even though we know that you are the man in charge. We understand that, but the people are asking for the chief to answer these questions.
Because the chief is not allowed to answer any questions about the investigation because there's another agency doing the investigation. They are not giving us permission to release that information. We don't have it.
Who would be the contact person where we can verify that?
What is the Tom Berry with SLED?
This gentleman right here.
Yes, sir.
We talked to SLED, the last time we talked to them, they said that Officer Slager had not provided his official narrative to the investigation to you guys heading up to SLED. Has Officer Slager provided his official account of what happened?
That is, again, SLED is who he gives that to. We do not get that.
SLED is saying he doesn't have it, so as far as you know, he has not given his official narrative of what happened.
That, again, that's something that SLED would have to answer.
Chief, is there anything you head nod to say that yes, he is still involved in the investigation, or is he fired and gone?
He is terminated. He is no longer here.
Is he not even involved in the investigation at this point? He's an afterthought.
I think what we're trying to tell you, we're not doing the investigation.
I understand that.
SLED is, so therefore they're the agency that has to give you any information from the investigation.
It's the last gentleman.
Somebody after they are shot.
That is standard policy across the country.
This is the last gentleman right here.
Yes, sir. Last question right here. Yes, sir.
Given what's happened, are you now taking a look at this officer's other arrests and other cases?
We are. That is something that we'll have to move to in the future. We're still waiting on all the information to come back to us from SLED. That's right. That's right.
It's something you're considering. You are considering looking at the other cases
They will do that.
officer made, other arrests he's made, other incidents he's had with other
We will look at that. Any questions anybody has, we're more than willing to look at.
Thank them in there.
We're,
Will there be any more disciplinary actions as far as other officers? The other officers?
that has to come with the investigation. And so I can't tell you until we know exactly if there were any other officers engaged or involved before I can tell you that there would be any type of punishment that would go out.
What was their role, Mayor, at the fair? What was their role, the other officers? Somebody can tell me.
The only role that I know from what I saw from the video was the first officer that responded, and he came up to the gentleman laying on the ground and was checking him out. I did see one of the officers at one time check. My understanding that there's more video than I saw, and that other officers, not every officer is CPR certified. With that, it's over. Thank you.
Okay, we're good.
All right, we'll take a look at that. You see the picture there, and the protesters obviously in the background screaming questions about halfway through this press conference. National media, local media here crowding into North Charleston City Hall. This press conference turned ugly about halfway through. I can tell you from the very beginning, Mayor Summey started talking first of all about the officer that was arrested, that his wife was 8 months pregnant, that they were going to cover insurance until that baby was born. Talked about Marlon Kimpson and the grant to buy 100 body cameras. Those body cameras on order. He ordered an additional 150 body cameras so every officer on the street would have one. That was received with applause. And then as they started asking more questions to the police chief, Eddie Driggers, the chant of "No justice, no peace" started. You see the protesters there in the background. That protest started this morning about 9 or 9:30. About 40 to 45 people were in attendance. The Associated Press reported this morning that protests were planned, and I quote from the AP, led by a group formed after the fatal shooting of another black man in Ferguson, Missouri. They asked about the other officer that was seen in the video that walked up. He was identified as Officer Habersham. They said that to their knowledge, no other witnesses saw exactly what happened. And then the question about CPR started, and they said they had watched the video. They were sickened by what they saw. Mayor Summey said Chief Driggers said he had not seen it since. And that they had seen the police officer removing the shirt and performing life-saving measure. That came a little later on in the video. There is certainly a blurred line about how much the police and how much the city of North Charleston information can release. They continued to emphasize they had turned this investigation over to SLED. That did not sit well with the protesters in place. Mayor Summey then took over that press conference again. They wanted to hear from Chief Driggers. It got rowdy, it got rambunctious, and it certainly was probably not exactly what the city of North Charleston, Mayor Keith Summey and Eddie Driggers were expecting this afternoon. It started a little after 1 o'clock. Right now we're getting close to 1:30 in the afternoon. We have got so many angles of this story covered for you today. We will certainly talk about this press conference, what is expected from the city and from the police chief as we move forward. You can join our coverage online as well at abcnews4.com. But for now, I'm Dean Stevens. We will see you back tonight at 6 o'clock on ABC News 4. Hope you'll join us then.